Hello everyone, my name is Wade Carlson. I'm with Runecast Solutions. I'm a system engineer, pre-sales for Runecast, and today I want to bring you a video that is going to illustrate some of a new feature that we have introduced to Runecast. And that feature is support for SAP HANA on VMware. And specifically what we're covering with SAP HANA for VMware is the best practices that are outlined by VMware for running SAP HANA on VMware itself. So with this enabled within our product, we're able to scan and analyze your environment, your SAP systems, and validate and verify where you're complying against VMware's best practices for your configurations and where you're not. So with that, let's jump into the product and I can start showing what it looks like. So here I have the regular dashboard for our Runecast Analyzer web client that you should be familiar with, or if not, you will become familiar with. So essentially the easiest, it's very simple in setting up this new feature in analyzing your SAP environment. So when you come into the main dashboard, you can go ahead and go into your settings tab. And within settings, you have your knowledge profiles. So if you select your knowledge profiles tab, in here you're going to have your security compliance frameworks that are all selectable. So if you're not familiar with that, each of these are available within the product, and you can select or deselect or unselect any of these if you want to comply against some or all of them, or a handful of them. But also towards the bottom, this is the area you're able to enable the best practices check for SAP HANA. So in this, I already have it configured in my lab environment, and I don't want to undo it because I'll lose some data if I do that. But essentially what you'll do is just set up an edit configuration and target your SAP systems, and then simply click update, and so on and so forth. But as a precursor to enabling this, what you'll need to do is set up VMware tags within your vSphere web client, your vCenter web client, okay? And if you click the pencil icon here, we give you an example and a nice little short video on how, if you don't know how to set up tagging in vSphere, we give you a short little video on how to set that up. But our recommendation is to tag each of your virtual machines that are running SAP HANA in the environment. That way Runecast Analyzer can identify those and do the analysis and the best practices checks against them. So that's part of your first steps. Not only come in here and enable SAP HANA, turn it on, but also tag your VMs. We provide you also with a link for an instruction set if you're not familiar with VMware tagging, and how to do so. Okay, full list from VMware's documentation and their website on how to perform that: create, edit, delete a tag, category, remove a tag, etc. is there at your fingertips right there for you. So once you have it set up, configured, and your virtual machines tagged, I'm going to go ahead and cancel this. Ultimately, run a scan. That will be your next step. So enable it, tag your VMs, perform an analysis. Okay, do an analysis scan in your environment. I'm in the online demo environment, so within the production version of Runecast Analyzer, this will have an Analyze Now button. You just click your Analyze Now. Once the scan has completed, you go into Best Practices. Now your results against SAP HANA and how your environment is configured will show up. And the quickest way I can hone in and look at just the SAP HANA is to go under Products and select SAP HANA within Products, and here are all of my best practices results pertaining to SAP HANA. Currently there's 18 different entries that are listed here. As typical and normal within our product, we're showing your status, and a best practices is either pass or fail. Okay, so ultimately you'll see all of the best practices in our lab environment that we're failing, and their severity, what it applies to, effects. Okay, Most of these are performance, some are manageability. Also, obviously, products which we've sorted on, how many objects are involved in the discovery, and really a title or a high level of what this best practice pertains to. So you can see, if I scroll down, eventually we're passing some of these checks in the environment, but I want to focus on some of these that we are failing, because obviously if I choose to follow the best practice, these will be remediation steps I go out and verify and validate and change in the environment, so I can turn these from a fail to a pass. But if I open one of these up, I'll just select the first one. This one is, related to the paravirtual SCSI controllers, okay, and high performance storage. The best practices is for a specific configuration, okay, in the environment. I don't have it configured on my paravirtual SCSI controllers the way that VMware is recommending it, so I am failing this currently. So what we provide here is the details. It's really just the high level of the best practice. We give you a link directly to VMware's website for the best practice. You'll get this verbiage from their website, and then a wiki link that you can go out to and check for additional information regarding this best practice. So we'll give you further detail. Date of the last update, what it applies to, virtual machine. That's what we're looking at for best practices currently for SAP HANA. Again, it talks about what it affects, impact, the importance level, and risk. Okay, as normal with other categories within Runecast and KBs, best practice, security, compliance, we're going to give you the details at a high level. We're also going to show you the findings, and this is where it's really important and the power of Runecast comes in. It's showing you all of the objects in the environment that are failing this best practice check in your environment. So ultimately you don't have to go and analyze or log into each system seeing how they're configured. We're going to show you this in this screen, so you can take this, generate a report if you wish, and go work from that report to go out and clean some of these up and validate and verify and check to see where you stand and make changes and remediate if need be. So in this circumstance, we have two different objects that are failing this best practice. As each section as well, we always provide a free form notes field. So as an example, if I wanted to create a change ticket, or I set plans in motion to remediate this issue on a specific date, I can simply, put that note in here for anybody else that might see this, or just a reminder to yourself of when you have upcoming actions to take on this best practice finding. As you can see, the different severities, we go from major down to mediums. I don't have any currently that are critical listed, thankfully, but I do have some majors and mediums, and that I'll probably want to go and address and ultimately align to VMware's recommendations and best practices. So that's really the new feature. Again, we continue to add new features to the Runecast Analyzer. Most of the new features that we're adding are based on, current client customer requests of what they need to operate and run their business, and how better Runecast Analyzer can align and help them in doing so. Whether it's VM sysadmin, project manager, different types of things that are working certain areas of the business and the infrastructure. That's what we're doing. We're trying to enhance and make Runecast a primary go-to tool to validate and analyze your environment, see where you stand, and show you in an automated way, in a very fast automated way, where you can go out and fix and resolve these issues before you experience issues and problems and potentially outages based on misconfigurations in the environment. So again, SAP HANA is now part of the product feature set. So, if you have SAP HANA in your environment, of course, that these are the steps that I've just illustrated and shown you, how to enable it, do your VMware tagging, perform an analysis, and start looking at where your stacking up against VMware's best practices in your configuration, so you can ensure that your environment's configured as healthy as possible to prevent issues and outages in the future. So with that being said, again, another nice feature we've added, we're very excited about. Getting a lot of good feedback from current customers and clients that they love this feature. So with that being said, I want to wrap this up, and I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful and helpful, and happy runecasting. I appreciate your time. Thank you for joining. Goodbye.